I'm Eddie Cannell.
And I'm Tom Cannell.
Welcome, everyone. This is the Mortgage Brothers Podcast. And today we are answering the question that people ask, not only us, but their friends, their relatives, themselves, their spouses. Is buying real estate worth it? Is it a great way to build wealth? Is it a smart decision? And Tom, we're here to just talk about that right now is real estate.
Yeah. And I think what we figured out is that is such a juicy, multi-dimensional topic that we want to kind of focus in on appreciation, right? One of the big pieces of why real estate makes so much sense is because of that single word that starts with an A.
Yeah.
We don't mean appreciation that you have for your mother.
Right. Aside from,
no, this is money appreciation.
Yeah. Aside from all the benefits that come from home ownership, like, just the pride of owning something, having it be yours, having a garage to pull into, it's your place. A landlord cannot tell you to leave, or they're going to,
Okay. So
all those benefits, right? Those are just,
right.
We're not talking about those benefits. We're going to be talking about the appreciation, the money.
Okay. So let's because this is a very simple topic. So people that are very intelligent, let me rephrase that. People that are more senior in their thought patterns and whatnot, they will look at this and say, this is a rather simple topic. But we're targeting this for really those that are really contemplating on the fence buying a home. For one reason or another, they haven't bought or they haven't purchased in a long time, and they're just thinking about it. So, Ed, I'm going to ask you this. I think this is going to be really, really good for our listeners. Okay. So in your 20s, as you were building, your family, as you were building your income and your lifestyle, what were the four biggest purchases that you made in your 20s?
The four biggest?
I just know the four biggest.
My car was of course my first big, that was the first big purchase.
Car number one.
Maybe a wedding ring.
I was going to say jewelry.
Would be one.
Another one.
And we got married at 25, and then and then of course the home. We bought our house, our first house at the age of 25, and that was in 2002, and we were so excited. We bought a home out in Litchfield Park.
Yeah, awesome. Okay,
and those are the only three. I can't think
top
of
three. Okay, and then how about like hobby wise? Did you buy anything big? Probably not.
No,
some people do mountain bikes.
Yeah, I didn't have any bikes, or it was like buying guns or
exactly. Okay, like that. So in your 20s, and that's who we're kind of targeting right now. Of those four biggest purchases you are going to make, how many of those appreciate versus how many of those depreciate?
Right.
There is one.
Only one.
It's your house. Okay. So whether it's a mountain bike, whether it's binoculars, whether it's, special skis or a boat that you bought or a car that you bought, guess what? Those all have a D in front of it. Those all have depreciation components to it. Yeah, you can buy the collector car. Yeah, maybe gold in that wedding ring will hold its value, but not really. So appreciation.
Anyway. Now I'm going to say in 2002, things were great. Then 2003, things were great. 2005, 2006, and all of a sudden 2007 is like, whoa, what's going on here, right? Market started getting so hot. 2008, we see in 2009, of course, the massive crash. All of a sudden, owning a home did not seem like the best of ideas.
Right.
And people, everywhere, were talking about how horrible real estate was to invest in or to purchase. Now, again, investing versus owning your primary residence. Okay. Buying rental properties is a totally different thing than buying. I think we should probably
correct.
Make a distinction. Buying your home that you're going to live in is what we're talking about here. Buying an investment property is also an appreciating asset because it's real estate, but we should be talking about these. With a long-term vision. Everything we're talking about with real estate is long-term vision.
Correct.
Not what's going to happen for the next 3 years.
Correct.
Look at it to be from a 10-year.
Just like the stock market, the stock market has its average return over, how long do they go back?
Well, if you go, if you go back, I'm looking at my Morningstar chart, goes back into the 1920s. The average return is about 9.5%. in the stock market, depending.
And along the way, there were a couple of dips, weren't there?
Absolutely. And there were periods of time, if you would have at least invested, even in the worst times, like the Great Depression, you would have to wait 15 years to recoup your loss. Okay.
15 years.
Now
That's a long time.
yeah. Now in real estate, again, that's a stock is not an appreciating asset. As far as we can tell from the data, is that an appreciating asset, even real estate, even in its bad downturns, real estate has always come back up, or at least appreciated and evened out at around 6 years. Okay.
Right.
So there is, in every 6 year period, if even in 2008, 2009, in 2015, values were already
Right.
at or greater.
So I'm going to also throw this out too, because yes, there's cycles in the housing market that always have been and there always will be. But as long as you didn't over leverage and you're just in a house, so we're not talking about getting that fancy multi-million-dollar house. We're talking about getting into a house. Regardless whether the market's up or down, you still need a place for your pillow. You still, are going to need to reside someplace. So provided that you didn't buy a house too big that you can't afford, you're still going to be in a house, even if you don't have a job. I guess you could move in with mom and dad in the basement. And people have done that and are still trying to do that in order to save up down payments and whatnot. But overall, I guess, we need to, put a little asterisk next to, yes, the market has encountered some tougher times, which we really did. The Great Recession, as we call it, back in 2007, 8, 9.
Yeah. But it is clear that real estate has on average appreciated 4%. If you just even it all out, 4%, and again, people thinking about real estate should be thinking 4%, not 5, 10, or maybe 5. You could probably argue that 5% could be an average, but 4%, very conservative average.
Mm-hmm. Also, something else I thought would be kind of interesting, because and we need to probably do another podcast on this, because if we describe it the right way, I think it's fascinating. Because of the leverage component of a home, where you're putting 5% down and the bank is giving you 95%, you're basically using other people's money. I say it's like your grandfather calls you and says, "Hey, son or daughter, I'm going to give you $250,000. I need to be repaid that amount, but I'm going to give it to you for the next 10 years, and you have the ability to earn interest on it. And that interest you get to keep." Well, the money he's giving you is basically the value of the home, or I'm sorry, the loan that you're getting for this home that is appreciating. And the interest that he's that you get to keep is the actual appreciation component of that home. Right. The only way that you're able to enjoy appreciation, since you don't have $280,000 in the bank, you have what? 5% of a $280,000 house, or you have 10% down of a $280,000 house. The only reason why you're able to do that is because you can borrow.
So I would think that we can do is we're going to use a worksheet. We're going to go. Tom and I worked on this worksheet showing, what do you do with your down? If you have two options, and to buy a house or not buy a house, right? This is the question, right? As Shakespeare would say, this to buy or not buy, and this is. We put together this worksheet where if you bought a home that was a $300,000 home, which is that's the median price today at this time of this recording, but about $300,000 sales price, and you put 3%, you have an option to buy a $300,000 house with 3% down minimum. What if you decided not to buy that house, just put that in the stock market or some alternative investment? And so we can talk about just how we can compare what that looks like. And we can see how how it actually benefits homeowners, because the principal of the loan is paid down over time.
Right. And you're not just using the $10,000, your down payment. You're actually using the bank's loan. Even though you're paying interest on that loan's allowing you to buy this $300,000 gold nugget. And this gold nugget is appreciating in value that you're able to take advantage of. And if it hadn't been for that lender's money, you would not. You would be buying a $10,000.
Yeah.
box.
So maybe what we show, how about you play the guy who's buying the real estate? You're going to buy a home with worth 300,000, and
Mhm.
I'm the guy who decided not to, right? And I take and you actually bought a home for 300,000, and I take my $12,000, which is 3% down payment. I keep it. I put it in the stock market, and I make 10% on my money. Which
Mhm.
is a really good return. If I take my $12,000 those funds after 1 year, I made $1,200 on it. That's great. I'm probably feeling pretty good, and 10% return is a really good return. And now I didn't buy real estate. I didn't buy my house. You did. You used your
Mhm.
12,000 and actually bought a house using that leverage you're talking about.
Right. Right. So on that house, after that first year, right? We're now are we assuming that we have to sell the house as well?
Yeah, we can actually show that on the screen too. I think is that we have
Okay.
after year one.
So after year one, in order for me to realize whatever type of appreciation or value that I've gained, I'd have to sell my house. Well, in order to sell the house, you got to have a real estate agent. And you're going to have costs. So this first year is not very impressive. So you might not want to ever talk to me again if we're just talking about this first year. But we're going to probably be in the hole about 9,000 that first year
Right.
because of the simple cost of the transaction. Sellers pay the cost of the majority of all the cost of buying a home. So just because when you bought the house, you paid very little, but when you become the seller, it's your turn to pay. So
Yeah.
so the first year is not very nice. It's about a $9,000 loss.
And that's why, folks, you don't want to be buying a house if you're going to be selling it, quickly.
Right.
And so again, and these numbers are based off of a real estate appreciating 3%, not 4. I want to correct that. It's 4%
Okay.
on these
Okay.
numbers. And the stocks that I've invested, right, is at 10%. So
Okay.
let's go to year two. My $12,000, which earned 1,200 the first year, is now I've earned 2,520 gain. So my net worth is now $2,500 more.
Awesome. And then I finally made up, that loss. I got my $9,000 back that I lost the first year. Again, this is all pretend. And now I'm in the positive by 3,000. So if I were to sell my home in the second year, even taking into account the transactional cost of selling, I would theoretically be able to put $3,000 into my bank. So you and I are basically tied. I
Yeah.
went through a lot of stress actually, having to find the home, get the home ready, fix this, fix that, and you just sat there and probably just opened up
Yeah.
monthly statements.
Yeah, for me, it's just been great, nice and easy. For you, not so much. And so
Yeah,
if you're going to buy a home and sell it within 2 years, it's still not worth it because
yeah,
you have to do all the effort. Okay.
right.
How about by year five? What does it look like? My $12,000 investment that I originally started with has now gained me additional net worth of 7,326
Total. So your
total.
bank
That
account is $7,300 higher than when you
higher.
started. Okay.
Mhm. I'm
And
feeling good. Mhm.
okay, and I sell my house and I open up my check from escrow and I look at the net proceeds. It's $42,000. I'm like,
There you
what?
go. Yeah.
What? 42,000?
Your net worth is $42,000 more.
42,000 more. That's after paying real
Mhm.
estate commissions, title policies to the buyer, all that type of stuff. I've
Yeah.
sold my home. I'm done.
And we're also accounting for, as you can see in the numbers, in a maintenance expense. Every year you're gonna have maintenance on your home,
Yeah.
right?
Broken
So we're
sprinklers,
trying to, yeah,
shingle falling off.
plumbing backs up,
Yep.
toilet repairs, right? All that stuff. So that's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
kind of force. That's year
Hmm.
five. Wow. So you totally blew me out of the water. You are way ahead right now, year five. Let's just go all the way to year 10. And my $12,000 that I started with is now giving me a net worth gain of 19,125.
19,000.
19,000. So,
Okay. Awesome.
mhm.
And I'm sitting at 119,000. After
Wow.
10 little years, and you're thinking 10 years, if you're 22 years right now, or 22 years old, you're thinking 10 years, people always say it to me, but it goes by very quick. And we have real life cases, friends that have chosen to purchase and that have chosen to stay renters. And there's about $100,000 discrepancy. And they happen to be in about this matrix example that we have for value and whatnot.
And these are people that are afraid of home values decreasing. And I think that we can end here very soon, but the whole idea is the question people always ask, when do you not enter? When is the market too hot to enter? And I'm going to answer that very simple. If you know you're going to sell your house within 2 years, or how about this, within 3 years, as you can kind of see these numbers, don't do it. But if you're going to be in the home for really, I think 4 years or greater, do it.
Yeah. How about this?
Doesn't matter how hot the market is, really, because you don't know when the top is.
Right. And we're going to also call it a mortgage train. In order to start building wealth, you've got to get on that mortgage train. Once you set foot on that mortgage train, which means you're going to be riding the ups and downs of that track, if you get off the train, and meaning you sell at a high point, good for you. You've got a ton of money in the bank. You're also going to get into a new or a different house at that same point, paying pretty decent dollar for it. But conversely, if you sell at the low point, yes, you'll have less in your bank than if you were to sell at the high point. But when you take that money and you reinvest it or repurchase, you're buying a home at a low point. So you're sidestepping. Is that the right way? You're really not even moving. You're just on that train. So the sooner you get on that train, the sooner you're going to start, building a wealth. And we just can't believe the eye-popping difference between those that just don't.
And we will do another podcast about investment properties. I think, at one point, just how people have used investment properties to build wealth. I mean, there's a lot of evidence. I don't have it in front of me right now. There are more millionaires in the world, but in America for sure, who made it from real estate. Real estate is the number one wealth builder in the world.
Yeah.
And there's reasons for that. And it's the power of leverage is the key.
Yep. Not everyone loves leverage, but there are a lot of people that love it. So there's probably two different camps, and they both are justified. There's reasons for not to have leverage, and there's absolutely reasons to have leverage. Our entire economic system is based upon leverage. The U.S. economy has to borrow money. Yeah. Anyway. Okay.
So with that, I think, everyone, we do this podcast every week. We want to share these, all, what we know. And we, any questions you have, our customers that have these questions, we want to answer them. So like this, subscribe, call us, email us, fill out a form online. And again, wherever you're watching or hearing this content, just subscribe and like and give us a great review.
Awesome. Stop by too. We're off of 16th Street in between Glendale and Northern. Here in Phoenix.
Have a great week, everyone.
Hey, thanks, folks.
Hey, guys. Thanks for listening to the Mortgage Brothers Show. Please let us know if you have any questions you'd like us to answer on this podcast. You can email your questions to tom@azmortgagebrothers.com or yours truly at eddie@azmortgagebrothers.com. And be sure to ask us for a free quote on your next mortgage. Tom and I will personally work with you and help you through the whole process. Signature Home Loans, LLC does not provide tax, legal, or accounting advice. This material has been prepared for informational purposes only. You should consult your own tax, legal, and accounting advisors before engaging in any transaction. Signature Home Loans, NMLS 1007154, NMLS number 210917, and 1618695, Equal Housing Lender.